gonna alarm you. Do you remember a TV show we used to watch together? It was called...
The Pink Opaque?
Yeah. Do you watch?
Hello, welcome to another episode of Somewhere Between a Film and TV podcast. We're your hosts. I am Daniel Parra.
And I'm Erwin.
And number one, thank you so much for listening and watching. If this is your first time doing either of those.
Nope.
You want to say it?
No, wait, Somewhere Between?
No,
Oh.
What do you do when you get on a YouTube?
Get on a YouTube? What do I do?
On the videos, you're supposed to say something.
I skip ads. Skip the 5-second or 30-second ads that I have to wait for. Oh.
You what the video?
Press play?
Okay, but
I search for the video that I want. What are you putting? What?
Like and subscribe.
Dude, I don't even like or subscribe.
You have subscriptions. What do you do? You
cancel them?
Me, when I started my HBO Max account again for like the millionth time today. I'm not kidding. I did that.
Dude.
No. So what, are you like an insane person and you look up every YouTube video for a person you like each time?
I don't like.
You don't like the videos?
I subscribe,
I'll
but
do
I don't
it
like.
Sometimes if I remember. Do it every time. Like our video, please. If you could. Well, anyway, everyone. If this is your first time listening or watching, what we like to do here is we
like and subscribe.
That.
Yes.
And imagine you just got out of a movie with your friends. All of them that you have. All of them in the world, Erwin. Every single one of your friends.
There's definitely not many.
You gathered all of your friends and you watched this movie together. Once it was over, you'd probably go outside. You would probably...
I touched grass for the first time.
For the first time in my life.
Yeah.
Maybe after I see either something life-changing or something horrendous. Either one of those. And then it sort of makes you think about all the beauty in the world. Either way. I remember I got out of Madam Web and everything felt extra bright to me that day. But what you're going to want to do is talk about that movie with your friends. You will occasionally get off topic, but you'll circle back around. That is what we like to do. And this week we have a review for you for a movie that this will contain full spoilers. And this one in particular, there are some things in it that I feel we might even have different interpretations on. We might have different feelings on this. That's how the world works.
Did you see my score?
A little bit.
Yeah,
but,
a little bit. You either did or you didn't. There's no, I think I saw a star.
I mean, just anyway, like
Okay.
any time in life.
I already feel it. I already feel the tension right now. I'm already feeling it.
For
I'm
what
already
thing?
getting heated.
Hang on,
Okay.
I'm building into it. But sometimes people have opinions. Sometimes people have differing opinions even. But you stay respectful.
I'm trying not to scream right now. What is this movie about?
What is this movie about? This is kind of a tough one. We're going to start descriptions for this one of all things.
I might as well.
It is about a young... Do you remember the main character's name? I guess I should have...
Oh, no, let me look it up.
In the meantime, Justice Smith's character in this discovers the TV show, The Pink Opaque, by the... I would say actor...
His name is Owen.
Owen, by Brigette Lundy-Paine, whose name is...
Oh, Maddie
in it. And it's supposed to give off a kind of Goosebumps feeling, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. That's something I definitely want to get into in a second, because I grew up with those shows in particular.
But did you watch it?
Those, yes.
Okay.
But along with that, there's a sort of supernatural, but maybe not element to it. There's a lot that's open to your own sort of interpretation. We're here to guide you through it into the void, as they say in that movie.
Twilight Zone.
But I do love the Twilight Zone. It's one of my favorite shows ever and has everything over Black Mirror. Every single thing. And
damn!
Do you like Black Mirror?
I think I like some episodes.
Yeah.
And then I like some Twilight Zone episodes too. So
anthology things are tricky though, right? Because it's sort of like something's always going to be better than the other. That's why I
Yeah.
don't watch American Horror Story, for example,
Oh.
because even what was it, the first one, the one that people
Oh.
like, that I know they like, I didn't like that one either.
Oh,
So I was
okay.
like, would I like any of these then?
Yeah.
I don't know. When the thing is literally designed to be hit or miss, it's sort of, it's weird.
Yeah.
But Erwin, what were your expectations going into this? Had you heard of it before? What were your sort of thoughts?
I thought this was a show. Like I thought
Oh,
it was like
yeah.
a series at first, but then you told me it was a movie, and I was like, okay, cool. But then you told me that it was like Late Night with the Devil, and I love that movie.
No, I said that it had the same sort of traction as Late Night with the Devil.
I thought you
didn't
said it
mean
was like similar in terms of its quality, and I was just like, dude, I love that movie.
No, I meant what I meant
Mhm.
was this movie's kind of exploding slowly.
Oh,
It was originally
okay.
introduced
Yeah.
at I believe, Sundance
Okay.
Film Festival, and of course progressed its way through time. A24 picked it up because this is very much in their wheelhouse, their vibe. As much as you want to say that A24 doesn't necessarily distribute their own studio stuff, aside from, I believe, Civil War is their first one under their house. Like they have a style. And as much as you want to say no, different directors, they do. Like they look for a
Wait,
specific.
you asked me a question. I'm now I don't remember what the answer. I was trying to answer something, and then you just went on the rambling about A24, and I'm like, "What are you talking about?"
What were your thoughts?
Tell me.
What were your
Ask me again because I don't remember.
What were your thoughts going into this?
I guess
Had you
I had
heard of
I
it
had
before?
expectations. I guess
Okay.
I'd say I had expectations because I thought you said it was similar to how Late Night with the Devil was.
Okay.
And so I was like, oh, I love that movie.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to go in and like expect something similar to it.
Uh-huh.
Not like the exact, but like just similar to like in terms of quality. And I don't know if that was a bad thing or not to me, but
that's my fault then, because
Yeah.
that's not what I meant.
yeah,
Right.
because I don't know. I guess like I guess I might have felt different from how you probably saw it.
So I don't know. We'll get into it in a second.
Okay.
But it is true. Going back into it, really what I meant was that this was kind of exploding on the festival scene and was
Mhm.
getting really popular because people sort of liked the kind of, there's a nature to it. This is sort of a movie that's kind of being told, unlike, a typical structure of a regular, I thought this was a horror-esque movie. It is in that realm. Would I define that under this genre categorically? Only by default, because it is so much more than that to me.
Yeah.
To me, this was more of a coming-of-age movie set in the horror-ish genre.
I did not get any semblance of horror.
Yeah, I mean,
Is it defined in that genre, like horror?
I don't think so. I think you can't
Is it
define
so?
it under anything, though.
Yeah, I don't know.
If it
No, it says drama. Oh, it says drama and horror.
drama
but-
and horror,
Yeah,
drama, yes.
I can see drama. Yeah.
But horror is supposed to be so broad, and I guess I could like literally even ask
that's
you
true.
right now, what do you constitute as that? Like, what is a horror movie?
To me, it's just based off of like the themes of what the movie's trying to say. Because to me, it's not just about like the typical like jump scares or whatever type of music that they
Mhm.
have. It's mostly how you see the characters are reacting to like the situations that they're in,
Yeah.
and then if you're put in that situation as well. And I feel like that's what gives it its horror elements. But I didn't really get that with this movie.
So for me, a horror movie can change per sort of definition. I guess I could say that like Late Night with the Devil is nothing like The Conjuring 2, I don't think.
Yeah.
Or The Black Phone, which I was thinking about recently,
Oh, yeah.
is sort of, I mean, it's similar to it, but then it wouldn't be similar to something like Midsummer. Those are two totally different realms of possibility. I think this is another one of those things where it's like a medium that's being told through a certain kind of aspect, which is why I don't think things should be so restricted in terms of how they're viewed or how they're explained, because this is sort of horror light to me. But did you grow up with Goosebumps, Are You Afraid of the Dark, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer?
Just Goosebumps.
Okay. And what did you think of Goosebumps whenever it was coming out?
I mean, I remember being scared as a kid.
Yeah.
With certain episodes, at least.
Mhm.
And I remember that I think it was Cartoon Network that they would always play the same like Goosebump episodes.
It was always the one where the mask is like stuck on
Yes, that
her
one.
face. Yeah.
The other one where it's like the kid finds like that, like he was reading that comic book, and he like
the one with Mark Hamill.
Yeah,
yeah.
like I remember that one vividly.
I actually remember. And what was the other one?
I don't know. I would have to look
Okay.
back, but also like the theme song.
Oh yeah.
That one, it's still even to this day. I say
They played
Goosebumps.
it.
Yeah,
they played it.
Yeah.
I was so happy when they played it at Alamo Draft House.
Yeah, it was so good.
So, I know we mention this all the time, like, or I mention this a lot as well.
Yeah, there's no weed.
Things are integral to like my childhood. I'm a whore for IP. What can I say? And
like beer,
intellectual property, not
yeah.
IPAs. I'm not an IPA person. Don't ever get me mixed
I'm
up.
a fruity drink guy.
I am.
I
too.
like them margaritas.
I don't know if I've ever had a margarita in my life, but recently I was looking.
He said it, so I've never felt anything ever. And I'm like, all right.
I mean, if that's your drink of choice, sure. I get AMF, so I felt everything in the world.
What is that?
It's called an amazing motherfucker.
What?
What? So what it is it's 4 different types of shots.
Okay.
And then blue curacao and Sprite. But at our parties, we used to replace the Sprite with Bang, and it was awesome. Have 2, you will be on the floor. It is the time of your life. Or have 3. And
yeah, I'm gonna show your mom this.
Oh no.
My boy, no.
You're like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's a.
She'll ignore everything, and it's just like the energy drink. Yeah, the energy drink again.
Oh no! You're like, mother, I am 25.
Please.
That's a deep fake. She's like, I don't know what that is. I don't think she even knows what AI is. Imagine living in that world.
Wow, well, it must be a great world.
I know. No, but I was obsessed with Goosebumps. It's another one of those things that I was like obsessed with when I was younger. This was go to the library. Be really angry that all the books were checked out for Goosebumps. Read the one that Ryan Gosling starred in that episode again.
Oh yeah,
where it was say cheese and die.
Oh, that's what it was with the camera.
Yeah. And then he like made up recently in an interview for the Fall Guy that he kept the camera from that, and he was like, "No, I didn't. Never mind." He's so cool. But I remember there's a line in this movie that actually rang very true for me, and it's the moment whenever he goes and says, I recently revisited my favorite show, The Pink Opaque, and I thought it was really corny. And I remember...
Me with any sitcom, I'm like, I recently saw New Girl again.
It's still really good.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like, that was... Like, I do the same thing where I'm like, I just saw the show again.
No, but his whole, like, thing was that he realized that it was incredibly childish.
Yeah.
And, I mean, we're going to get into it.
Yeah.
But anyway...
Did we describe the movie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Can you remind me? Because now...
But no, so this was like, go to the library, get that, go home, up until it was the one you actually mentioned.
Which one?
The comic book one. I was so excited when that one first started because I was like, oh my God, these are my favorite things. This is comic books and horror stuff and Goosebumps. My favorite book was always Horrorland. And I remember being so disappointed by the actual episode.
Yeah.
Because...
we saw that one together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then being like, this kind of sucks. Or like...
Remember when we would watch Goosebumps?
We watched... So this is how I know that Goosebumps didn't age well, was we saw all of it. We've seen every episode again.
I forget. Now I'm just remembering that.
What I'm remembering is that the end of every single one of them was always very underwhelming, and that's kind of how they got out of having to explain themselves. That was the twist, basically, was they just be like, we'll never know what happened. Here's something kind of ominous that happened, and then that's it for us.
Dun 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 dun.
It has one of the best theme songs ever. Yeah. That intro's awesome.
I did see the one with Jack Black.
It's a good movie.
Yeah, I like that one.
The first one is very good. The second one's okay.
I haven't seen the second one.
But the first one's really creative. It's very funny. It's very much the Monsters Unleashed of our times. And it's...
again? No, I'm just kidding.
It is, though. This one, like, genuinely, it has the same format.
Have you heard that they're doing a live-action Scooby-Doo again?
Yeah, with the Riverdale writer.
Yeah.
Which
what do you think?
I think we might have talked about this on the show before, but that's exciting to me as someone who is a... I don't know if we call it ironic fan of Riverdale.
Yeah.
I think it knows what it's doing. That's what I think.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I just, every time I hear about Riverdale, I'm like, what's going on? Because I've seen the first season.
Yeah, where it's like actually
Like they're in high school.
reasonably normal.
Yeah.
Before they start time traveling and then going to prison
Yeah.
and every other weird thing that they do. But Erwin,
Yes.
what did you think of this?
I thought it was okay. I had some
Yeah.
issues that I would love for you to like either talk to me about.
Okay.
Just like I think just things to be explained.
Yeah.
But other than that, though, like I thought the movie was okay. There were some things that I definitely liked, where like imagery wise,
Yeah.
that I just like I really love looking at. But I think it's also one of those movies I would probably have to watch again, just because I think knowing like what's going on and what's happening, I want to see what it may look like afterwards. If you get what I'm saying.
You have your own interpretation of what this was about already?
I think so. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have different opinions on this, so I'm trying
Yeah.
to think about how to format this in my head right now. I thought this was great. I thought this was really great. I think I came to respect it more than I even loved it because...
What do you mean by respect?
Because I thought this movie was really well done.
Okay.
But there's a very cold nature to it and its characters on purpose.
Okay.
The characters are very isolated and are hard to connect with on a specific level that is intentional.
See,
because their dialogue is very, very flat towards each other, but it feels very sort of like these people don't know how to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And I know some stuff about the director we'll get into that does tie into some of the stuff that I think that this is about. I think this movie is about multiple different things. But I think something that could be interesting is let's sort of present your positives and your flaws and the things you want to ask me, and then I could come back with what I thought of some of it as well.
So I guess I already told you some of the positive ones too. I guess some of the ones that I was confused. Actually, once we talk more about the confusing aspects, I'll bring it up.
Okay.
But some of the negative things was what you just mentioned right now, where it's just the characters just saying lines where it's very flat.
Yeah.
And it was so hard for me just to be able to connect with any of them, especially I guess like for sure like the main two.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's just like anytime they just interacted with anyone or anything, it just didn't feel like it was just very emotionless.
Right.
But especially since like, I mean, we could say the twist, right?
Which part, if you even considered a twist, which thing?
The fudge. I guess when she was talking about how they were buried.
Okay. Yeah.
That's where I was just like, it was there. I think that's when I was like, it was starting to lose me. I got really confused because I'm just like, wait, what's happening?
Yeah.
So her thinking of going back, both of them getting buried again, would make them go back into this world that they thought they were living in.
Because Maddie thinks that they're currently living in the trapped reality and not the actual TV show,
right? Yeah. Okay, that's where I'm at.
Okay.
Right. And so I'm like, okay, like I understand what's happening and everything, right?
Yeah.
And it took me a while just to like be like, okay, like to actually get in, like in like to under like, or just to appreciate what's going on. And it wasn't until that started to happen, right? When Maddie shows up again, and I'm like, okay, like I'm invested now.
Yeah.
And afterwards, when I guess like at the very end, he is working at that, I forgot what it's called, like that.
It was a movie theater at the end. No, and then it was the sort of like,
it was like a fun
Chuck E. Cheese
yeah, it was
thing.
like a fun factory thing or something. And I don't know, I'm so confused when he opened up his chest.
Okay.
And like I guess it was like a TV that was glowing. And then also that part was confusing to me. The part when he went back home to watch the tapes again. And I guess it looked like he was getting sucked in and then he was throwing up.
Oh, yeah.
As well. I'm like, I got so confused. I didn't know what was going on.
So did you sort of get to a point where there was just too much confusing imagery thrown at you?
I think so. I think because this one for sure, half of it was like, I didn't think there was a lot of dialogue, right?
Not
okay.
Not
it wasn't
a lot.
It wasn't a lot to
yeah.
where it's like things were being explained to me. But at least with the imagery, that was its main thing. Because I love some of the imagery that it was showing, but in terms of like the world building,
right? Yeah.
But I think in some places where it's like they were trying to use imagery as a way to tell their story, which is fine. But I just could not tell what they were trying to say.
Yeah.
So that like that's the parts that I was struggling with a lot.
So, in terms of your semblance of what the movie's about overall, what would you say?
I mean, I'm taking it very from like just point blank, right? Because like
Right.
it's like okay, they're stuck in this world,
Mhm.
like this trapped world, and then you go back into their real world, this reality, like their reality,
Okay.
and not the one that they're living in. But then I guess Owen, he's like in denial of it all, and that's pretty much it. Because I can't think of like why he would do this, open up his chest to see like a TV glowing.
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, oh, I don't understand what's happening in that aspect. That's where like that part, like I'm like, okay, I don't understand what's going on.
Okay. So I get everything you're coming from.
Yeah.
I have explanations for all of that.
Yeah.
In my own like
YouTube video.
No, explained. That's actually part of what this is called. So, no. Okay. So the first thing.
Okay.
I think genuinely this is about sort of the retreat of your childhood innocence lost in finding yourself within TV. And the idea
the TV or like just like a typical show.
Quite literally, let's say,
Okay.
because I've heard experiences of this,
Yes.
where someone doesn't have a great childhood. Let's say they were bullied. Let's say anything like this. They come home. What's the one solace you can find?
Oh, okay.
It is television.
Yes.
Television used to be considered a very communal idea back in the 90s or 70s, 80s. It used to be something where you could sit down and you knew that people all around the world pretty much were like sitting down for the exact same thing at the same time. Goosebumps was always the horror thing that you felt like you weren't supposed to be watching when you were a kid. It felt like you were getting away with watching
that was me with Adult Swim.
I was going to say, but like, do you have that with Family Guy, for example? Or like...
No, mine was it Robot Chicken?
I hate Robot Chicken.
I hate it, dude. Even as a kid, I was like, I don't know why I would try to watch it. I would watch it. I'm like, this is gross. I don't like this.
Robot Chicken used to give me nightmares.
Yeah.
And that's when I knew it was time to go to bed. If that was on, then
I would always switch it to Nick at Night. I was a Nick at Night person.
And then watch George Lopez bounce on the trampoline for like 4 hours straight.
Or The Nanny.
I would
watch The Nanny.
Fran Drescher. That's her name, right? Yeah, I remember Erwin like has a huge crush on The Nanny.
I get it.
Yeah,
I get it. Me too.
I don't even remember what she looks like. I remember that.
Yes.
You sounded like the kid from The Simpsons.
Oh,
But no, going back into this.
Yes.
I do think it's about that. I think it is important to note that Jane Schoenbrun does also come from preface this, I'm not fully qualified to talk about this, so all I can really state this is as a fact, is that this director is non-binary and said that parts of this are supposed to be metaphor and parable for sort of coming out of your...
Wait, what does parable mean?
Parable is this sort of English term for the type of story that is told, that is used not necessarily point blank, like you said, but rather more of a metaphorical type of story to really show the themes of like what you're talking about.
Oh, okay.
So I think even if you want to take that and just take it into broader terms, I think this is about growing up. I think this movie...
Yeah. See, I didn't get that.
Really?
I did not get any semblance of like innocence. And I think it's just possibly because in the very beginning, right, when you first got this, like, just you're introduced to these characters and like you got like a semblance of like how their childhood is growing. I think it's just because it was just so like, all right, this is what's happening behind like their scenes. Like I got a little bit from Maddie, but not from Owen, because I felt like with Owen, like all he cared about was just the show, and it just seemed very like just fixated on that aspect, and that was it. And I just did not get anything else from him.
There is a line where Maddie even asks, "Do you like girls?" And he doesn't have anything to say. He's just kind of like, "I like TV shows."
Yeah,
is what that character says. And I also do love Buffy the Vampire Slayer a lot, by the way. The director mentioned that there's a huge inspiration from that show into the like clips that they show in this that I thought were really well done, by the way.
Oh yes, I agree. Yes.
They look straight out of
Yeah.
which I didn't know. That was, I guess you don't know Snail Mail, the artist. I love Snail Mail, and I didn't know that's who that was. And I thought that was funny because they put not just that artist, but also Phoebe Bridgers in this. And I was like, that's right. This movie's giving off a very sort of shoegaze movie vibe, and it feels like that sort of music, but as a movie, more or less. I got that real connection out of it because while watching this, when Phoebe Bridgers showed up, I was like, that looks like Phoebe Bridgers. And then I was like, I've seen her in person.
Yeah.
And so have you. Yeah. At ACL. So that was interesting.
Yeah.
But I really like the music in this too, just offhandedly. It has its own soundtrack.
I like the music, yes.
And before we get more into this sort of like deep dive stuff here, I do want to say it looks beautiful. The actual genuine sort of glowing neon of this
I do like that.
looks phenomenal. Your rooster's going off.
Oh. Ew, what the heck?
And like that's not something I could ever complain about. It's really beautifully directed.
Damn. Guys, I have chickens and roosters.
And they make noises for sure.
I hate that rooster so much.
What was the other thing you were confused about?
I'm trying to remember. I think that's it because so whenever Owen is driving, right, and he like sees like that big tree, but then sees like the street glowing. Can you explain that part too? And then how Maddie was like, she just came back, right? And like being able, like, how did she like discover that?
So for me, I think so.
I'm taking things very literal.
You're taking this movie as like a literal.
Yeah,
thing.
I think that's what I'm like.
Maybe you should. Maybe because I think this movie works in the way that you could both say this is not a fact.
Yeah.
Or you could also say this very much is what's happening.
Yeah.
And if you take it either way, I think this works. This is one of those movies where if you have a separate interpretation of me, that's fine. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm right. Maybe we're both right because I think it's
or we're both wrong.
Or we're both wrong, and there's someone else like that's about to angrily type something.
Please.
And actually, yeah, please do it. All engagement is good engagement. And,
yeah, guys, can you please roast us in the comments?
I don't want that.
I want that.
But if we're taking this literally, then that's literally the sort of cracks of because it's literal.
Cracks? Eggs? Rooster? No, it's just chickens. My bad.
Yeah. Okay. And let's take that as fact. That's sort of the break in his reality into Maddie's.
Okay. So they're connected.
Right.
Okay.
Because do you want to take this as the idea that they are actually trapped and it's the inverse?
Yes.
Okay.
Because that's where that's what I got from the movie where I was like, okay, I guess they're trapped in this other reality, but Owen isn't ready to accept that yet. And so I was thinking, I was like, well, the moment he does this, he opens up, it's like, is that him like pretty much almost accepting? Because like, remember like in the like that birthday scene at the end?
Yeah. Where
everyone just stops and just is like very still, like just looking down, and he's just screaming.
Yeah. So
like, what was that about?
The ending to that.
Yeah.
I think that entire scene is pinpointed by the thing right after when he says, "Sorry for earlier."
Yes.
Sorry for earlier, and that's how the movie ends. It's very much that being the final scene. You're like, what?
Yeah.
I'm assuming you had the same reaction when it ended.
I was like, okay, is he just accepting like this is his new reality?
Yes.
After so long?
To me, what had happened was he fully denied himself and who he is as a person.
Yes.
And kept that bottled up until a breaking point.
Yeah.
And then finally was sort of like, I think in a sense, he was kind of ashamed of himself for whatever reason.
Oh, okay.
So him saying sorry for earlier is my interpretation of that, is that he was like apologizing for being himself and apologizing for sort of taking up space as the idea of himself.
Yeah.
And whenever he does the chest opening thing, to me what that was was that he was like, this is me, and like it's something that's like bursting to get out of him,
Yeah.
but he just won't let it happen.
Yeah.
Which is why I think,
Is that the part where you would like what you would say about like his innocence as a child?
I think Maddie
Yes.
getting to leave
Yes.
is Maddie's like liberation, the kind of I am free, I am this person, I get to go and live that way. But then Maddie coming back
Yeah.
is sort of like, no, this is not reality, and
Yeah.
then trying to get Justice Smith's character back into their actual world
Yes.
to represent himself as who he is. But it's supposed to be a sort of metaphor for never really truly accepting yourself for who you are.
Yeah.
Which is why the final couple moments of the movie, he said that on the sidewalk, it even says in chalk, there's still time.
Yeah.
I think it's to show that no matter how late you are in life, you can still sort of like, it's not too late to
Damn, I'm
fully.
Yeah, I am really taking that movie very literal. Because
Yeah.
when it said that, I was just like him like literally thinking, I was like, you go save yourself, you're buried right now. I was just like, whoa.
I think you can
Yeah.
take it both ways if you want. I think
Yeah.
the sort of horror aspect of this is supposed to be existential.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be about being trapped in a body you don't
Mhm.
belong in.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I never saw it that way.
yeah.
But then it makes sense now because then when you look back at the scenes where he's like because Maddie was like saying, don't you remember anything else that happened during that night and all? And he's like, no. And he like all he could think about was just watching that show. But then they were showing like glimpses of like what other things that they were doing.
Yeah, because it kind of struck me because whenever they show just that, they don't show anything else. Like they don't like, but then they keep flashing back to this. But I think this movie is supposed to operate on dream imagery.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen anything by David Lynch, but
actually I don't know. I would have to like look at his list.
Like Twin Peaks, Fire Walk with Me. There's Blue Velvet. There's Mulholland Drive.
Great. Now I feel like a loser. Thanks.
Okay, but there's obvious inspiration from that in this because they do sort of take a lot of fragmented storytelling.
Yes.
In the way dreams work,
Mm-hmm.
because the parents in this come off kind of nightmarish.
Yes.
The Justice Smith's dad, I thought, I don't know if he was supposed to. I don't know if he's supposed to look terrifying, but
dude,
to me,
I don't know. See, it was just so confusing because it's like the moment he like Owen like put his head in the TV,
right? Yeah,
and then the dad's like taking him out. I was like, is he? I guess like he's aware what's going on.
Yeah.
Oh, he's part of it, but it's just so I don't know. It's like when I guess I'm just taking everything so face value, and I'm like, okay, and like it just wasn't enough for me to like care.
Fun fact: that's Fred Durst. He's the head of Limp Bizkit. And
what's Limp Bizkit?
The band from the early 2000s, late 90s, which I wonder if that's why he was cast in this.
Oh.
And I'm misremembering here, but he's either the director of... It's not Gotti. He did the other John Travolta one. The Fanatic.
Fanatic?
Yeah.
Is it the one where he's an Italian? No,
that's Gotti.
Is he the one with wearing like a bathrobe?
It's the one where...
with the weird haircut?
He has the weird haircut.
Okay,
That. He's wearing a Hawaiian shirt.
Yeah, okay, I remember that now.
He made that.
Yeah, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Man of many talents. Yeah. Movie's awful. It's really bad. You've seen it, right?
No, well, I remember you telling me about it.
Oh, I've seen it.
Yeah.
It's not Gotti or anything, but...
Got him!
Remember Gotti?
No, I remember got him.
Gotti.
No, got him.
Well.
Like, all right.
The meme?
I am the honored one.
That's
sorry, now I'm just
Kaisen. That's a different thing.
I don't know, my bad. I can get that out of my head.
I need to catch up on reading.
I need a mustard.
Honestly. You need what?
You said ketchup, and I said I need a mustard.
Like the bathroom?
No.
If you gotta go so bad, we can.
No! I wasn't trying to say that. Mayo!
Oh yeah, the mayo was $6. You said that in front of, I guess, the cash register would.
Yeah,
the guy wouldn't give a fuck.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, it's fucking $6.
Yeah.
Are you gonna get it or what?
Like your mayonnaise is $6. Like,
and are you gonna get it?
So, well, you took everything literal, like everything that happened.
Yeah.
So
see, I did not see like the moment you're putting that out, I can see that now, like where you're coming from. But I think it's just even then, it's just so hard because of I'm guessing just because of how the director wanted the actors to portray themselves throughout the entire movie, because it just felt so flat and
Yeah.
so bland that I could not connect with them. So anytime they were like dealing with these issues, I just could not care less.
Something that's kind of unfortunate
Mhm.
is that's definitely the point to me.
Yeah,
And if you can't get on the idea
yeah,
of actors being told to literally not emote,
yeah,
I get it. I
yeah,
understand. But the artistic choice of having them not able to emote
yeah,
really, really, like, I think the moment for me that you mentioned already that makes that click and makes that work is whenever he does scream and everybody stops. It feels like the
yes,
movie almost kind of stops itself
yes. I
because
agree.
it's the first time you feel any sort of like,
Emotion.
yeah.
Yes.
Because really, for me, what this movie kept doing because of that,
Mhm.
because it was so atmospheric and for me
Mhm.
actually really creepy,
Yeah.
that it kept feeling like something pushing inward on you
Hmm.
and making you feel like something was wrong. That the moment the character snaps is kind of when you're about to snap because
Yeah.
you're sort of like, can you please just like explain
Explain.
why everything is this
Yeah.
way?
I do think it's a movie you would have to watch again though,
Yeah.
because now even after hearing all this, I would love to go back and watch the movie
Mhm.
again just to see like just like your perspective on it, like how you saw the movie in
Yeah.
terms of like just innocence
Mhm.
and like someone losing like their inner child and all.
Yeah.
But also just knowing like what happened in terms of like being stuck in another reality. I would love to see like what changes or like what things I could see differently from the
Yeah.
very beginning.
I do have this tendency. I guess we can go into this because people
Mhm.
watch movies differently from each other, right?
Yes.
Do you take everything literal, or do you sort of go into things and you, if you know something is supposed to be metaphorical, do you
Mhm.
take it as such?
I don't know. I think
Or
it depends, right? Because I'm running away. I'm thinking about Beau is Afraid
I love
because it
that movie.
has
I
mix,
love
right?
that
Because it's
movie.
like it
Yeah.
takes it very literal in certain scenes, but then there's some scenes where it gets very out there.
Yeah.
And I love Beau is Afraid.
Yeah.
And I think that it balances very well. But I don't know. I think it's just depending on. I think it's because with at least Beau is Afraid, we were able to see Joaquin Phoenix's character literally just express himself so vividly
He
throughout the
did.
entire movie, even like literally and just figuratively.
Well, to me, that's one of the best
Yeah,
performances he's ever
yeah.
given. So I,
But I think that's where I think it was just lacking for me. It was just the actual characters being able to like not do any go just through the entire movie basically with little to no emotion. Because even when Maddie was telling Owen about everything was going on, and he's just like, what,
yeah.
like nothing. I'm like, dude, why aren't you even more shocked about this? And she came back out of nowhere, and like she
Yeah.
disappeared for years. Like, what is this?
No, the scene where I thought this was funny. This is how
Yeah,
you know this is on purpose, and these actors aren't bad. They're just told to do this.
yeah,
Is when Maddie shows back up and they're at the grocery store,
yeah.
and the way that Maddie's
It's just like
standing was
standing
like
like
so like, what are you doing?
yeah. I just like it seemed like that part. I was like, okay, she seems shocked, but
Yeah.
even then, it's just like there's no like it's just no build up. Like even when Owen like hugged her too, there's like no emotion. I'm like that's where I'm just like what like
And for me, I think
Mhm.
Justice Smith, yeah, is a
Yes,
very good actor that's picked a lot of strange
movies.
projects to be in.
Yeah,
I think he's good in Detective Pikachu. There's really not like a whole lot, I
Dungeons and
guess.
Dragons.
Dungeons and Dragons, he's very good
I
in.
love that
I
movie.
think I do too. Yeah. So I know he's very capable of emoting. And Jurassic World, I remember
Mhm.
he screamed too much, and I did
Too
not.
much emotion.
Was that Fallen Kingdom? Yeah, the
Yeah,
one he's in. He's also in the third for 2 seconds.
seconds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I mean, I know that these actors are capable of giving more than just that kind of performance. This sort of performance sort of rang for me as the way that Kristen Stewart acts sometimes
mm.
in things, but in a positive way.
Yeah.
That it's more of her. It's not like Dakota Johnson and Madam Web, where
Oh,
it's just like the flattest delivery you've ever heard in your life
yeah.
because of not being invested. I think that these actors are invested.
Okay.
They're just being told to be this way.
Yeah,
And
I believe that.
yeah.
But it just like at least for me, it just didn't
Mhm.
come off like I don't know. It's just it was just so hard for me to connect.
Because if you're like, if you have actors and you
Mhm.
are literally guiding them
Mhm.
to be detached from reality, how are
Yes.
you going to connect with characters that are detached in the first place?
Mhm.
And I was able to. I felt that like sort of register of being able to understand where these characters are coming from. And I really, really liked all of that because there's also one moment that I thought was great where they're at the theater and Connor O'Malley of all people is in this. I don't know if you know who that is.
Connor O'Malley.
He was one of the guys in I Think You Should Leave. I don't know if you recognized him.
Possibly.
He's one of the ones that's like always really weird.
I don't know. That's like majority of them.
Majority of them.
Yeah.
His was, you've seen everything, right?
Yes.
The political sketch campaign one at the end where the guy keeps making weird videos and he keeps like sending them to the guy in the middle of the night. And then he's like, stop sending me these.
No, actually, I don't know now.
And then it's like, I banged Frankenstein's wife or something like that.
Yeah, I think you should leave, man.
People know what I'm talking about.
The people.
Yeah, the people out there. It's a very popular show, Erwin.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is.
Not everybody knows about that show.
It blew up on TikTok. The drive-through one is very popular. But is there anything else you either had questions about or flaws with?
No, I think that was pretty much it
Really?
for me. What about you? Did you have any flaws or?
My flaws with it were I thought it might have been a little bit too languid at points.
Mhm.
I thought it sort of took itself a bit too slow initially setting things up.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I loved the stuff when he was a kid. I really liked that sort of. I didn't know how much of that movie that even was.
Yeah, it was just in the beginning.
Yeah.
But it was such a long. It was just like a short thing. But that's where I'm like, I don't know. Like it was hard for me to grasp like that child innocence too, because I'm like,
yeah.
you only got so much from it, him as a kid and everything, or both of them. So like when you see them just being like teenagers and adults, it just kept happening fast.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, like what's going on? But it's like, that's supposed to be like reminiscent to like life, like things happen so fast.
I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, and when he was throwing up, like you said,
Yeah.
that was the moon juice stuff that they were given. I think it was supposed to symbolize the whole idea of being like trying to be forced back into the original reality
Okay.
that it came from. But you're not supposed to know how much of this is in his head and how much of it is like actually.
Yeah, that's why I got so
Yeah.
confused. I don't know.
But if you want to operate on dream logic, then I think like all of it being true at once,
Yeah.
that's possible if you think about it that way.
Okay.
And the stuff I loved, before I get into any more flaws, is one of the final moments of the movie whenever he was like, I love my family very much. I love them more than anything. You never see them, which I thought was great because I don't know if he actually does have one or not.
Yeah.
Or if he like is just saying that to say that. And then he's like dragging the TV inside, but right before he goes inside, his face kind of changes as if like whatever he just said is not the reality he wants to be living in.
Yeah.
I thought that was great. There's sort of like a kind of, I would still put this under the umbrella of horror. It's just not your very straightforward, like,
Yeah.
I'm going to scare you.
Yeah.
Like that. I think it's supposed to be stuff that just kind of like gets to your head because it sits with you for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's sort of the feeling I came away with because it was one of those movies when it was over, I just kind of like sat there and it was one of those where I was just kind of like, I need to think about this before I say anything about it. Because this movie has been on my mind. I saw it last week. I've been thinking about it since I've seen it, really. Even if, like, I'm working...
I think you should leave. Sorry,
Oh,
I just love the title.
Even if I'm working on something, like, different that has nothing to do with this, I'll, like, stop and think about this movie for a second. I mean, same thing with Furiosa, but for different reasons.
Mine is Shrek 2.
You think about that? We really meant that earlier, because we were at Tumble 22. And...
Changes!
If anybody... works at Spotify, and
please get the whole album on Spotify.
And if you could please put the "I Need a Hero" cover,
dude. Yes,
I would very much like that. I don't know if anybody who runs Spotify would by chance come across this YouTube video, but hey,
guys, we're premium, please.
I pay my $10 a month.
Oh man,
so does he.
Yeah.
We also upload on there if that means anything.
True. Hey, plug.
Yeah. Well. What's your score on this?
3.5.
3.5 out of 5?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think because I would love to watch it again though. Because I don't know, I think maybe it's just like if I looked at it a different way too. But I just want to see if I would feel differently from it though.
I loved this. Why?
Well, no, I'm just kidding. And I used
45 minutes. Like you want to make it 90 and I would just go over the entire thing again.
Hello, damn.
Yeah. I, first off, want to list, I thought it was beautiful. I loved the music.
I love the moon.
The moon was really cool.
It was scary. Like that one was creepy.
That one actually,
was-
I have tryptophobia.
Yeah.
So there's moments like it stopped when it zoomed in, but for a while I was like,
right,
cut it out.
Yes.
Because I did not like that.
It looked like those ones where like Cartoon Network on Chowder or like Flapjack, it would cut to and it's like super realistic.
Oh yeah.
You know, and then it just cuts away. It's like animated.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that.
I thought they captured the 90s TV show aesthetic really, really well.
Yes.
Especially having watched clips of Goosebumps even just recently, or Buffy the Vampire Slayer, or anything like that. That was one of the first shows. That actually was the first show I ever binge watched, was Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I remember that was like the first time I'd ever thought about doing that, and was like, this show's awesome. And I think I finished it.
Yeah.
Because that's one of the first shows I was also like, oh, seasons of a show can also be rough and not perfect. I know Supernatural was up there, but that's still going.
No,
it stopped. It ended.
Yeah, it ended a while ago.
It is a spin-off though, doesn't it? Or will?
Actually, I don't know.
Yeah.
I should ask my dad.
I know
Mr. Lover of Supernatural. He's seen that show like 3 or 4 times over.
Really?
Yeah.
I know that and Charmed is always on.
Charmed?
Yeah, that show with like Rose McGowan. Wait,
is that the one with the Disney princesses?
No. That's Once
that?
Upon a Time, which we had to be shown in English class, and we were like, this was made for $2. But then it was funny because I saw that trending recently on Twitter, and they were like, have you noticed how they put a lot of money into their costuming? And I was looking at all the costumes, like, oh my god, they're right.
Yeah.
Then the actual like the dragons and shit, like, why even try if you can't afford it? The same goes for The Flash.
Oh yeah, I love the first season. I love the first 2 or 3 seasons of The Flash. Then afterwards, it just gets very boring. And
yeah, I stopped after season 3.
Yeah, I mean, basically.
Just watch the first 2 and then you're good.
Honestly, yeah, even just watch the first one because I love the first season.
That
so
tells
much.
a complete story too. So but season 2 has King Shark, and nothing else does.
Yeah. And season 2, I think you get more of like Reverse Flash and all.
Have you seen the scene? I think it's in. I can't remember the name of the show, but whenever King Grodd shows up at Obama's house.
No, his apartment.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I think that's DC's Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah,
my dad's seen the entirety of that too.
Really? I heard that show after a while just kind of turns into that.
Yeah,
it just gets
funny.
really like funny.
I just know that there's certain lines that people said with King Grodd.
Oh yeah.
That I don't believe it's true that they said it in the show. You know what I'm talking about?
Which one?
So like when Grodd would show up into like Obama's apartment, he would go make he's like, I don't know, so he's like, make something great again. Or something.
Make monkey?
I don't know.
That sounds like something that people just say on the internet now.
Right? That's what I'm saying. Like it seemed like what's it called? Like a voiceover or something that someone did. So
like the ride wife.
Yeah.
Regret.
Miss wife.
Sad. I don't even think he says that. I just remember we would say that all the time.
That was so funny.
But my flaws were it's a little bit too slow and languid for its own good. Maybe I didn't have this as much as you did, but maybe just a bit too detached at times from telling its story. I did like how not straightforward this movie was, though. I did love it overall. I sort of kind of have more respect than I do even love for it, though. Kind of like how I feel about Dunkirk.
Yeah.
And overall, I'm still giving this a very high score. I thought this was great. I gave it a 4.5 out of 5.
Damn!
I did think this was great. If you told me you hated it, though, I understand. I feel you. Like, I get it. Like,
yeah,
it's not,
it's
not the most accessible thing in the world. I saw on Google reviews, it was at 2.8 out of 5.
Damn.
And then it was like high 80s in Rotten Tomatoes.
Okay.
Which, that checks out.
Yeah.
That all makes sense.
What about the critics?
That's,
really?
It was that like... Last time I checked, it was at 88 or 89% on Rotten Tomatoes. Wow. Yeah. So still, like, great score. Yeah. But it's not the most accessible thing. But it is challenging. So
Challengers.
Just like that. But I love that movie.
Yeah. I want to watch that one again.
I do too. But I kind of wish I would have seen it in theaters again before it left.
Is it already left?
Like every other fucking thing. It's on digital
like 2
already.
weeks already. Yeah. Dang.
It's actually really irritating. And I wish they would stop doing that because I was anything going to make money. Otherwise.
Yeah.
But, so, what's that? You want to do averages? I think it's like 4 out of 5 total for us. And...
Averages?
Like total, like our combined score.
I don't want to do that.
I'm
Okay.
my own person.
All right. Well,
Did I see the TV glow? I don't know.
Did you?
I don't know. Do you have a joke for it?
What? I saw the TV glow.
Yeah, or something. It's like, so Erwin, you're glowing. Are you pregnant?
Oh yeah, Erwin.
Yep.
What's your skincare routine?
What?
You're glowing.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. What we're gonna have up next is a movie I'm really excited for.
What is it?
Bad Boys.
Oh yeah.
Ride or Die. Ride or Die.
Yeah, I gotta see how many? There's 4. This is the 4th one.
Yeah, I wish they would
need
have
to see
called
the
this
third
one
one
Bad
again.
Boys for Life because
It just makes
duh,
sense.
yeah. If this movie, like, if they would have made 3 and 4 back when Michael Bay was still making these after 2, which is one of the best action movies ever made, but we'll get to it. We'll talk about it. And
Fuck, I need to watch them again. I haven't seen Bad Boys 1 or 2.
2
forever.
is like
Yeah.
phenomenal.
My parents would watch that movie, those 2
The
movies
second
over
one?
again.
The first one's good enough.
Yeah.
The second one's great.
All right, I'll watch the
And-
second one,
Yeah.
and then I'll watch the third one, and then I'll watch the fourth one.
Because the third one is more of like a. It's interesting seeing people try and copy Michael Bay's style because he has one.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna get in. We've actually never reviewed a Michael Bay thing on here before, I don't think,
Oh.
but we will.
Yeah.
And actually, it's not even them. These guys are they're different. But I
Okay.
still want to talk about him on the next one because I
Yeah.
also loved Ambulance.
Okay.
But anyway, thank you so much for listening and watching. If you could, it only takes a second.
2 seconds.
What are they gonna do?
They're gonna skip the ads.
And then do what?
Like,
And
comment,
yeah, and
share.
please share and subscribe. Actually, genuinely,
Cancel
please,
all subscriptions.
if you have seen this, what did you think of it?
No,
what-
I don't want to know.
I want to know. And I want to know if you had a different interpretation than I did, a different interpretation than he did. Because this movie has multiple different meanings to it, I think. And maybe you even have one that we don't have. So thank you, everyone, so much for listening and watching. We'll see you next time.